I'm suddenly realizing I'm waiting for the image to come up, but there's a delay. So you're going to be seeing me waiting for the image to come up. You couldn't make it up, could you? Good morning, everyone. So I haven't got my start screen, my normal welcome screen this morning, because I had to uninstall and reinstall my software, which is always fun. And I thought I had reinstalled the image, but apparently not. I've reinstalled the heading, but not the source. Anyway, happy International Women's Day. I've got my coffee. I think I need about 5 more from the sound of it. It's sort of lukewarm. Anyway, so today, to celebrate International Women's Day, I'm doing feminine things. I am going to show you how to make a gift box, a gift bag, and then we're going to do a feminine card that uses watercolour pencils, which are my top tip Tuesday today. Today being Tuesday. And I have a top tip. Which is all about using watercolour pencils. It's less of a tip and more of a technique. So anyway, I'm going to use that on the card that I'm going to make later on. Let's finish the coffee before it goes cold. I do, of course, want to make sure that this is streaming other than just for me, and it is, thank the Lord for that. So do let me know where you are joining from. Hi, Nora. And we've got a sunny day here. Little bit of cloud, but I think it's supposed to be sunny most of the day, so that'll be nice. Hello, Inika, you caught me live. We've been having a real chat on the comments section of my YouTube channel. So that's the coffee done. But yes, it's a really nice morning. I even saw, mostly because I think he's mad, there's lots of building going on opposite us, which you probably already know about. And one of the younger workmen there, and I think younger is probably the pertinent point here, decided about an hour and a half ago that he was too hot. So he was going to take off his jumper. And he's now working in a t-shirt and a high-vis sleeveless jacket, which really, it's 7 degrees apparently, according to my laptop. It's saying it's 7 degrees here, and he's too hot. Morning, Claire. Oh, I'm sorry, it's stormy, Nora. That's not good. That's not good at all. Hello, Carmen from Puerto Rico. Hello, I don't think I've had anyone from Puerto Rico join before, but welcome. Nora is in Ireland, Inika, although of course she'll be able to answer that herself. It's blustery with you in the west of the Netherlands, but very sunny. Hello, Joanne. Sorry, Joanna, need my glasses. I have to say there's a bit of a breeze here, but it's not too bad. No, I mean the leaves are moving a little, but it's not too bad. Anywho, so the inspiration for today's bag was this. My dear husband bought me for Christmas some Chanel No. 5 perfume, which I love, but I haven't had any for a very, very long time. And anyway, I like the bag. It's just lovely. I mean, it's an older design, but I thought I would replicate it because, apart from anything else, it's got this lovely fold here that means that you can't see the end of the ribbon. So I thought I would replicate it, and I've worked out how to do it on a piece of 12 by 12 paper, so that's what we're going to start with. Let me flip the camera down and then I'll catch up with who is here. So, now if at any point you can't hear me, please let me know. Not that there'll be much I can do about it, but morning Joe, morning Lorna from a sunny morning in Chester. 5 degrees feels like -5 according to your app. Fair enough. Hello Karen. Hello Karen from Hampshire. Karen has bought my last class in a box, and it's the first time I've had a class to her. So I hope you're enjoying it, Karen. Morning, Margaret. Very sunny but cold, cold wind. Hello, Val. 6 degrees with Inika, but feels a lot colder. Hello, Helen from Michigan. Yeah, it's supposedly 8 degrees with us now. The temperature's just gone up. Right, so I have no idea what that is, but we'll throw it away. So I'm starting with our bag, and I'm starting with a piece of 12 by 12 Sweet Talk paper. Now, the key with this is you need something that can go in any direction, as in isn't directional. So if you've got something, plants growing in one direction, wouldn't be a good idea because it ends up like that. But this, because it's got hearts going in both directions, works. Val is from Townsville, North Queensland. Ooh, how's the weather with you? Haven't you had horrible floods? Or am I getting my geography of Australia wrong? 30 degrees and sweltering. Okay. I'm only slightly jealous. Shared and liked. Thank you, Lorna. Yes, sharing is caring. So yes, if you want to support me, I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK, and this is my business. This is how I earn a living for my sins. I mean, I love what I do. I would do nothing else. I worked at a stupid job in the City of London for many, many years, and this is so much more fun. Has fewer office politics because it's only me, which helps. But yes, if you would like to support me and you're not able to order through me, then sharing is always lovely. So please, 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 that would be lovely. And liking. Sharing and liking is just great. So what do we got? Love chatting live with Stampin' Up friends from all over the world. Isn't it lovely, Inika? Floods are about 1,000 kilometres south from you. Okay, so you're kind of okay, but everything's a bit eek. Right, so 12 by 12, we're going to score at 3 inches and 9 inches, and this is the way that the bag is going to be. So this will be the top, this will be the sides, and this will be the top. The bottom obviously is off the screen. Right, so turn it through 90 degrees and score at 5 and 7 inches, but only between the lines that we've just scored. Now, it's not the easiest thing to do to score between lines when you don't want the line, but you can press very gently, and then when you get to the 3-inch mark you can press harder. It is only paper, so be careful, and then you can come across to the 7-inch. Ooh, gone too far there. I think that's right, 7-inch, yep. I mean, you can do just a very faint score to get you there, and then come down. Now, obviously, if you're doing this on your trimmer, it would be easier to see because you've got the ruler on your trimmer. So we scored at 5 and 7 between those existing lines. Then we're going to score at 3/4 of an inch full width and 11 1/4 full width. So that's all the scoring we're doing with the scoring board, but there is still more scoring to do. So let's pop that away, and I need a ruler. Now I'm going to burnish the lines that I've got because otherwise no one is going to see where they are. So this is one of the lines that goes all the way down the paper. And it is only paper, so do please be careful. Hello, Wendy. Bit parky this morning. Youngest grandson about to arrive, but we'll watch until he does. I'm happy that you are able to do so. Hello, Jan from South Florida. So we've got our side scoring done. Oh, I know what I meant to also do. There was something else I needed to do. So let me bring this back out. So we need to make a couple of marks, and they need to be at 5 3/4 and 6 1/4. And these are on the, so this is where we've got the long score line. So 5 3/4 and 6 1/4. It's been ages since I've done a video with bags or boxes, and I need to do more of them. Right, so we've got these score lines which will make the base, and I am just going to kind of reinforce those just so that we can see where they are, because otherwise this next bit is going to be a little tricky. Okay, so we've got a point here and the mark that I made up there, and I'm going to score. Actually, I'm going to do it the other way. No, I'm not, because that's very busy. You won't be able to see it. Theoretically, you should do this on the other side, but we'll go against the rules of paper, and we'll do it this side. So we're going to join those 2 points and do the same here. She says, trying to find it. There it is. Just there. And then the same on this side. Now, I say this is breaking the rules of paper. Theoretically, you should fold towards the score line. So you want to fold towards the mountain. You're less likely to get your paper cracking on the outside if you do that. Ages ago, I did a top tip on using paper in that way. Right, so this goes this way. So that's our score line there. This goes this way. Now, I will confess that the box that we're going to make doesn't actually go with the bag or the card, but I wanted to show you how to make it because it's slightly different. It's like a pizza box, but not. And it's something I've been trying to work out for a while, and I've finally worked it out. It's not complicated, but it took me a while. Right, so we're going to take this score line and pop a thumb in there, and we're taking that score line and we're lining it up against the score line that goes right way up and down. She says, I haven't burnished those particularly well. So you line them up, and then on the inside you make a fold. So we've now got that, and we're going to do that on all 4 edges. As I say, this is fiddly rather than difficult, and it does make a really nice bag. So fiddly, trying to make your paper do what it doesn't really want to do. You've just got to show it who's boss. So you line it up, hold it in place, and whoops, hit your light. Hello, Gwen from North Carolina. We'll watch the replay. Yeah, it's easier to do it on the replay, Inika. I know where I'm going with this, and if you don't kind of know where you're going, then the first couple that I made did take a little longer because I was still finessing the plot, the pattern. So pop that there and reinforce that fold, and then last one, line up your fold lines and burnish. So we've now got all of those lovely creases in place. We can actually come back in with a bone folder and reinforce those if you want. It's not vital. Now, I did notice I've set up a zoom. I know, it's weird. So one of the things that I did when I was sorting out my software was do zoom. So I don't know if you can see that here, which we bent against the way you should score, it's just beginning to crack. And that's what I mean by folding against the score line. And that's what happens. Right, so we've got this lovely bag coming together. Now the only other things we need to score are these lines at the top. I say score, burnish, fold and burnish, and then we need to do a little bit of trimming, only a little bit. We will need to put this back into a trimmer, and then it's pretty close to being done, which is frightening. What I do need is my Highland Heather ribbon. If I can get it out of my rack, come along. So I've got Highland Heather ribbon, which will go beautifully with the paper because it's got Highland Heather in it. So let me grab my paper snips, and I'm going to cut away this piece here. Let me grab a, so I'm going to cut away this bit, this bit, this bit, and this bit. And I'm going to trim slightly inside the score line, because into the bag, because then it will help it lie flat. So there'll be less bulk. So that's where all the score lines meet. Very fractionally, and I mean very fractionally, mitre that. So just cut it, and I'm, hair's breadth into this piece. And again, now the key to cutting is to look at where you're going, not where you've been. So I'm looking here, I know where my scissors are, and I will be able to get them to go where I want them to end up, if I look at where I'm going rather than where I am. Hope that makes sense. Last one. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Can't see if you're asking any questions. Nope, that's fine. And obviously it doesn't matter whether you mitre the edge or the main bit first. It's all good. So those will then go in, that will then close down, but we do need to think about where our ribbon is going. So our ribbon is going to come through. Let me grab that bag again. Our ribbon is going to come through from the outside and then be trapped into all of this. So to do that, we need our trimmer, and it does need to be a trimmer, not a guillotine. And you need to come in, and it's an arbitrary amount. You need to come in from the edge here. I'm kind of going to the 1 1/4 inch mark with my top on my trimmer, and then the midpoint is obviously 6 inches. So I say obviously it's 12 by 12 piece, so I'm lining up my trimmer blade to the 6 inch mark on my ruler. This is 1/2 inch wide, so I'm going to cut roughly 1/4 inch that way, slightly over, just so there's wiggle room, and 1/4 inch that way. So I then have this slit here. Now I might need to make it bigger with my scissors, because obviously there is bulk in the ribbon. Then same again, line up your cutting blade with this line and the 6 inches, push it in 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch, and open up, and then we've got our 2 slits nice and central. So we need a couple of bits of ribbon. So let's see, let's go yay long, yay long, yay long. So let's cut our ribbon and cut that in half. Hello Elizabeth from Melbourne. Hello Deborah. No one's ever late. You're just not as early as everybody else. You obviously have other things to do, which is fine. So you're going to take your end and just feed it through that slit. And just be a little bit gentle. And then I'm going to feed through the other end. or the other piece rather, over here. Doesn't matter which way you go, whether you go from top or bottom, because you can sort it out the other way when you are done. Like that. And then you want either tear and tape or Seal Plus. I'm going to use Seal Plus, if I can find where I've hidden it. Here it is. So underneath that slit, towards where the bag is, as opposed to towards where the top of the bag is, pop some Seal Plus and just pop that down. And then that's going to fold over, the sides are going to fold over, and it's all going to be neat. So we're going to put glue on our funny shaped bits, because those are going to stick down. So liquid adhesive, always a good plan. And I'm, ooh, what a nasty end. Hold on. Got to, that's better. I had some dried glue at the end. So let's, I like to go just inside the crease line so that I know I've caught it. And you don't need masses. And then just pop that down, press where the glue is. Do the same the other side. So we've got a bead of glue just inside, about 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 centimetre in from the score line. And then pop that down. And you see they meet. If they don't meet, then just edge them in a bit, and you'll do that earlier on. No flooding, the flooding of New South Wales. You haven't had as much rain. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? You either have too much or too little. Hello Kay from Kansas. Almost missed me. Well, we're just, this is the first project, so not too bad. So obviously it gets a little harder the nearer we get to finishing this, but again, I'm doing a bead of glue along that fold line, or just inside the fold line, then glue on the flap, and again, bead of glue near the fold line and the flap. And then you can either use glue, or you can use tear and tape or Seal Plus. I'm going to use tear and tape just because it's a long edge and I want it to be reasonably dry reasonably quickly. So tear and tape. I might use 2 pieces just so that it's properly stuck down, but you don't need to. Or you could use tear and tape on the edge and then liquid adhesive on the inside. Absolutely. I will put, when I post this on my website, which will be, I don't know when, I will put the score lines in. They may not make huge amount of sense until you watch the video back, but it's not difficult, it's just a bit fiddly. Then get my, take your pick and pull those up. Fold that over. Same this side. Now, if you're on my newsletter, you will have had a newsletter this morning, hopefully, about a stamp camp that I'm doing, and I'm doing it, hi Leslie, I'm doing it in aid of the Ukraine issues. Don't really know how to best talk about it. It's so depressing. Anyway, all of the profit from that class is going to go to the Red Cross for Ukraine, and I'm using the All Together suite because that just seems like the perfect suite to use to support Ukraine. So if you're in the UK or have a UK address, do take a look at that. I am already getting orders, which is great. The first 12 to order will get a gold mini pizza box as well, for no other reason than I just like to share these things. So those are beautifully sealed in. You can't see the ends. Love it when you can't see the ends of ribbon, because we don't want the tatty end. And then you can just tie this in a bow on the top. Like that, or better than that, but you know. I know, Val, it is just horrendous. I can't even get my head around it. It's just, and I used to be in the Navy Reserve, so I was in Gibraltar during one of the Iraq wars. So I've not seen frontline service, but I was posted to Gibraltar as a reservist during one of the Iraq wars, and it just, I don't even know where to start. Anyway, back to International Women's Day. So there is a nice little bag for all sorts of treats. You could put sweets, whatever you want in there. So the next thing we're going to make, let's stick with, actually we'll do the card next. I have pre-done some of this. Thank you, Nora. Thank you, Joanna. It's just, I mean, good old Chanel. It's one that's been around for a long time. This is not new as a design, but it's a great way to use up 12 by 12 paper. And it's a nice sturdy paper. We do good paper. So, yeah. And it's just a little bit stepped up from the normal way of doing that, because we're hiding the ribbon and stuff. So I'm using, because it seemed appropriate for International Women's Day, the In the Moment stamp set, which is in the Spring Summer catalogue. I've got Gorgeous Grape, because I want this to go with the bag. Gorgeous Grape isn't actually in the pattern, it's Highland Heather, but it's near enough. So I've already stamped and heat embossed, and the sentiment I've chosen is, you're always so good to others, be good to yourself too. International Women's Day. And as I say, Top Tip Tuesday this week is all about watercolour pencils, so I thought I would bring that into today's live as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is, with my white, which is in the first assortment, I'm going to colour in all of the image, and this is part of the reason why I started by doing the heat embossing before we started, because it was one less thing to do. I've done lots of heat embossing over the years, so if you follow me regularly, you will have either seen it, or soon we'll see it again, because I do heat emboss quite a lot. So I'm laying down white to soften the background, to give me a lighter background, because I can then put colour over the top, and I'm going to show you a cheat in a minute. What a lovely idea, Joanna. Lorna's doing a crafting morning in the village hall on the 24th for the same thing. Made myself a badge with the sunflower stamps too. My customer card this month is this. So everyone who shopped with me in February will be getting one of these cards, because it's just perfect as a way to show support. Hello, Pam from Australia. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Gwen. And everyone. As I say, just be careful that you only choose pattern paper that has no up or down, because otherwise you will end up with things growing in the wrong direction. I've got somewhere, yes, I used a piece of the daffodil paper as to mock it up. So this, for example, I wouldn't use, because it's got a definite direction and it looks kind of weird having things growing the wrong way. But that was one of my mock-ups, just to make sure that I knew what I was doing. Right, so we're laying down lots of white pencil. Don't press too hard on your embossing, because you can actually lift it off if you go mad, because it is brittle. And if you press too hard, you'll just break it, like that. Now normally I would say you want to use a fairly flat pencil, but obviously if you're going into tight spaces you need a point. And you won't get into every last little crevice. You know, the table legs, for example, will be tricky. But I might actually leave the table the colour that it already is. You're going to be back in the UK from the 17th to 29th. If I order the camp, can it be sent to my son's? Absolutely. No, Jan, that would be perfect. So I think you're on my mailing list, so you can. It asks for your address because it's with PayPal. So absolutely, that would be amazing. You don't actually need the stamp set, but it obviously will be easier if you do have the stamp set. But if you're a demo, I would say get that through yourself. And obviously you can do it through me if you want. There is a small discount if you do it through me. I have kept the discounts to a minimum for this one because this is about fundraising. This isn't about earning. So all of the profit, so my commission, goes to the Red Cross. Actually, I will just do this very quickly because it's fairly easy. As I say, these narrow bits, not as easy to get into. But no, Jan, that would be amazing. If you wanted to support that, that would be just fantastic. And I'm absolutely thrilled to hear that Lorna is doing something, because Lorna is on my team. And she's becoming quite a courageous, I'm only ever going to do it for myself, not person. So I'm absolutely thrilled. So if anyone's in the Chester area, you may want to look her up. Right, so I've coloured that. Now my cheat, white colour. You know, right, so I'm using Calypso Coral. So I wanted to just check that everything was kind of going to work. So I'm using Calypso Coral just gently, just so that it's not just like purple. I used too much of a sharp point on that, but we'll just do a little bit of Calypso Coral just as flesh, like that. Her dress I'm going to do in Gorgeous Grape, I think, which may seem odd to put Gorgeous Grape on top of white, on top of Gorgeous Grape, but it actually comes out. I think I've broken my lead. Not technically a lead because it's pigment, but I think I've broken the lead. But yes, it's a slightly different effect by doing this. The only thing you will need with the class is either the bronze and ivory blends or a selection, I mean a combo would do, of the natural tones. And again, you can add those onto your class if you want. Again, there is a small discount, but I want as much commission coming my way as possible so that I can send it on to the Red Cross. In Europe, the bronze and ivory blends are currently low inventory. I suspect, and I have said this before, I suspect that they are going to be dropped and replaced by the natural tones. I don't think we're going to have bronze and ivory and the natural tones. I'm happy to be proved wrong, but that is my suspicion. So that's where we are at the moment. It's not the best colouring in the world, but hey. Her hat I'm going to do with crushed curry, so it's sort of straw. Like that. I'm going to do her hair in Early Espresso. It's only going to be a hint, and then you can then reheat, which I'll show you in a minute, to melt in the any colour that you get on top. I'm And I'm actually going to use that on the tabletop as well. Now it's all going to have a slight mauve purple hue. Excited to watch from Ontario. Yay! Hello, Sherry. Very early in the morning, I would imagine. I'll do it all through you. You're not on the mailing list. Oh, okay. But yes, if you send me your email address, Jan, I can let you have all the details. I will be posting it on my website. I'm hoping to put that up later today, but I can link to the newsletter, so all easy. Right, I'm going to use rich raspberry because she's drinking some red wine. So let me see if I can get the zoom to show you what I've done. Almost, there we go. So that's what I've done. So it's, as I say, it's not the best colouring in the world, but it's kind of quick for this. And then I'm going to show you how to remelt it to get rid of some of the colour that's over-coloured. So the early espresso in particular has gone over the edge. So I'm just going to remelt it. Which helps. It doesn't do it completely, but it helps. Sorry, something's just fallen on the floor, which I don't really want falling on the floor. Let's wrap it around there. Let's do that. I've got a new toy that I need to start playing with. So it's taken off a little bit of that. You need to work on your colouring and blending. So my Top Tip Tuesday today, Deborah, is all around using watercolour pencils and how I would recommend people use them. So this is going to go onto there. And as I say, there's my original palette so that I could see what was going on. So yes, on my YouTube channel, the video that went up earlier today is all about that. Mostly because someone asked me about watercolour pencils. So if you ever have any questions about how to use something, just let me know. Thank you, Deborah. Just let me know, and I'm very happy. Leave a comment on any of my videos, send me an email, however you want to be in touch, and I will then try and help. Highland Heather card base. And I am going to use quite a lot of adhesive because there is a little bit of a wibble. There always is a bit of a wibble with heat embossing, and heat embossing twice doesn't make it any better. Now there is a deliberate gap between the two bits of stamping. Should have put that on the other side, but never mind. Only because there's a long edge at the back now. Hey ho, I can trim it, it's fine. Now I would put a white liner, a basic white liner in. So there's our image there. Now I've got this piece of paper that's it's just some of the designer series paper to go with the bag because I'm seeing this as one gift. I'm just going to stick that right the way across the card. So I'm going to put seal so it's slightly longer than the card is wide. Line this up on my grid paper so I can have a vague hope of getting it straight, and then turn over to the back, and with my I have a specific set of snips for things that are sticky, and that is that. Right, so we just have a box to go. So those two will go together. Yeah. Now my box won't. My box is actually the box that I've made for my customer gift this month. I am not showing you what's in it because that spoils the surprise. But we are starting, and I've got Bermuda Bay here, with a piece of card that is 7.5 by 8.25. Now, A4 card, for those of you not in North America, is slightly wider than 8.25. So please trim it down to 8.25. And when I say slightly wider, let's see if I've got a piece in my bin. I mean very, very, very slightly wider. But it will make all of the difference to the finished box. Scoring tool. Right, so we are going to score. Let's get my head into gear on this one. What am I doing? That's what I'm doing. Right. So my brain has stopped working. Let me just check what I'm doing. 4.5 plus 1 plus 1 is 8. Right, I know what I'm doing now. So with the wider piece at the top, we're going to score at 1, 2, 6.25, 7.25, and then this is 8.25. Turn through 90 degrees, doesn't matter which way because it's the same both sides. And we're going to score at 1, 3.25, just checking my measurements, 4.25, 6.5, and then we've got this as a 1. So let's burnish all of that. Thank you, Pam. So burnish, don't need scissors, let's get those out of my way. And I'm using some of the paper that's the host set in the annual catalogue. Suddenly realised I had bazillions of sheets left. Right, so it's going to fold round like that. So this is going to be my front, this is going to be my lid. So on all of these, we're going to cut up all the way, leaving the score line on the narrow piece. So on the 2.5 inch piece, we're pushing the score line into the narrow piece. And then here I'm cutting into the wider bit with the score line on the narrower bit. So we're doing that all the way round. If you've got bigger scissors, you can use bigger scissors. And again, look at where you're going, not where you are. So again, and as I say, you'll see the box, but not what's going in it, because my customers deserve a surprise. Because they're lovely. Anyone who buys the class kit gets a little gift in with the class kit. Hello, Marlene from Wisconsin. Right, so it doesn't actually matter which is your front and which is your back. You just need to visualize it. So this is going to be my front. So I'm going to cut that there, and I'm going to cut that there. And so that's going to stay too wide. This is going to be cut here. You don't need to be exact on these cuts because they're going to be hidden. This we're going to cut away half. Nearly forgot there for a moment. So half. This one you do want to be careful to cut neatly. And then this one you're actually going to take off a little bit more than half. And you may end up needing to take more off. So same again on this side. A little bit more than half. This cut neatly on that line, leaving the score line off. This just cut, neat, not. This you're keeping, and that you're keeping. So little bits of wedging So these are going to go in underneath our double. To get rid of some of the bulk, I'm going to just take a tiny bit of mitre off there. This I'm going to come in and wedge, and again wedge. I'm going to leave that for the moment. We will need to trim it, but I'll wait until we need to do that. That I'm going to trim again. This will need to be trimmed, but I'll wait, and it will become evident why momentarily. I should be able to do these in my sleep because I was making them all when I was watching television last night because hubby was out, so it was a great time to do it. Right, so we've ended up with that. So doubles here, singles, cut, cut, cut. Now, this is the moment to put on your paper. So this is our lid. This is the front, the base, the back. So I have got some of the heart paper from the free paper. So that's going to go there. And if I choose the right one, that one, it's going to run down. So we've got 2 inches by 4 inches, 4 inches by 3/4 of an inch, 2 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And you want those, oops, those go in. So these actually go on there. Because these are going to tuck into the box. And then that one needs to go that way up there. Right, so for speed, I'm going to use seal, although on the ones I made last night, I used Tombow. There's quite a decent size margin around the outside. Get rid of those. And just remember to visualize which way up everything needs to be. As I say, these are going to be tucked in. And it's a design of box that I have been trying to sort out for a ridiculous amount of time, and I finally managed to get there. So it is a pizza box, but it's a pizza box with a difference. Hello, Judith. And final piece, or pieces, I should say. Oh, wouldn't you know it? Okay, so I will be using liquid adhesive because my seal just ran out. It's fine, it's what I used originally. Nope, wrong way up. So these need to go towards, with the point towards the bottom. No, that's run out, silly woman. One of the reasons I like using seal on camera is because you can pick it up just by touching it, whereas with liquid adhesive you kind of don't want to touch it. Right, okay, so got glue there apparently. Let's get rid of some of the detritus. Right, so right, so we need to do the back first, and it will become very evident why momentarily, she says, hopefully. So you want a bit of adhesive reasonably near the edge, score line. You can do both sides at once, but this edge is the important bit, and particularly there. And then you want to line the cut edge up against that folded edge, like that. And then hold it in place just to make sure that it's got a key. And then the same again on this side. and just hold it in place so that you know that it's there. Now, the key to this working is that you do not have any adhesive on this piece or here. You want this piece and this piece to not have adhesive. But you need this to fold in over the top, because that's going to come in over there. So, the easiest way I have found to do this is to add adhesive, actually there, and on this piece, because it's this side we don't want adhesive on. So if we do that and that, we will have enough adhesive to hold it in place. So we're going to do the same again over here. That piece, these two surfaces need to be clear of adhesive. So we're going to put adhesive on this bit of the flap and on the inside of this piece. Fold it over, and you want to make sure that, again, your lines are, your cut line and your score line is lined up. Now I'm going to come in with my bone folder and just make sure that that is all well stuck. And as I promised, we're going to need to do some trimming. So the idea is that this goes inside the box, but there's going to be something in the box to stop it. You could just fold that in and it would be inside, but that's not what you want, because there's something inside the box. So what you need to do is to just try and do it, see roughly where that edge is, and that is where you're going to cut. So I'm actually going to cut slightly inside of that so that there's a good gap. I'm shaking like a leaf, I don't know why. And then do the same the other side. Like that. And then those will both go into the box really neatly. We're going to have the same problem with this piece, because that's too big. So, two things we're going to do. A, we're going to cut a bit more off. And B, we're going to do the same again. We're going to look at where it's catching and then cut slightly inside of that at an angle. So we're wedging out, but at quite an extreme angle. And then your box will just slip together like that. Now you will need to put a ribbon around it to keep it closed, but that is your finished box. And it's just beautiful. I was so pleased when I worked out how to do it. It's how our backstage boxes and things like that work, and dare I say, how the boxes that I send out my classes in work. And yet I couldn't work out how to do it. But there we go. So there is our little box. So we've got our box, we've got our bag, and we've got our card. And those are our projects for the day. So I hope you enjoyed that. Do remember to give me a thumbs up and to share. I love it when people share. Let me sort this out so that you can see things a bit better. That should be, actually if I do that, that's probably the best. So yes, please do give me a like. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so pleased that you like them. As I say, if you shop with me in February, you will be getting one of the boxes with something in it. Because I don't just send out empty boxes. That's not what I do. And you'll also be getting the Mischievous Mice stamp set. If you shop with me in March, you'll be getting the polished dots, which are beautiful. And it's one of the embellishments from the new catalogue. So, thank you, Nora. I'm glad you enjoyed them. Thank you. Let me flip the camera up, if my mouse would like to work. Hello. And then I can say goodbye properly, as I'm always saying, my mother told me to say. So thank you very much for joining me today. Bit of a different Tuesday, but I hope you enjoyed it. I like to show things that are a bit different. I've been meaning to do some more bags and boxes for a while, so there you go. Absolutely, Val. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you. I'm so pleased you enjoyed them. And as I say, thumbs up is always appreciated. Shares are always appreciated as well. Thank you, Sherry. I'm glad you enjoyed them. And obviously, if you want to make either of these, just watch it back. You can just keep watching it back. Catch the replay. Absolutely. To see the card being done. Yep, absolutely. I didn't do the heat embossing on camera, but it's just heat embossing. So thank you very much indeed. Have a fantastic rest of your day. If you're in the back end of your day, which you will be if you're in Australia, have a good night. And I hope to see you again on... My brain went. I hope to see you again on Thursday. That'll be 3 p.m. UK time on Thursday for more fun and games. So until then, bye-bye. She says, trying to find the end screen. Bye-bye.